Hello, cats and kitties, dogs and pups, my little sweet baboos. Happy, happy, happy Valentine's Day to you. It is your friendly neighborhood headbanger Terry here, and I just wanted to ask you something. Do you know anything about the real Saint Valentine? Yes, this guy's a real dude, and he is not the saint of Godiva chocolate, and he's not the saint of diamond jewelry or roses. No, there's more to this guy, and I did a little research, and I thought that I would tell you about him, and my southern accent is really going wild tonight. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but you know what? We're just going to let it go because apparently the Southern accent has been rated one of the sexiest accents in the U.S. Did you know that? Heh, there you go. All right, well, here we go. Tomorrow, or today, if you're watching it on Valentine's Day, I'm filming the night before, we will be celebrating the day of love, chocolate, flowers, and that's right, severed heads. There you go. Let's get into it. Let's learn a little bit more about Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine was a 3rd century Roman saint. Now, it's possible that what we know of Saint Valentine is like maybe more than one person's story combined because history is a little iffy and sometimes record keeping is a little iffy, but we do know that he existed. We do know there is a Saint Valentine, and it could be that what we think are two persons are just two different periods in St. Valentine's life. So it's a little iffy, but I'm going to tell you what I know to the best of what I could research. He was born around 226 AD, so a couple of centuries after the birth of Christ, and he is recognized as a saint by the Catholic Church, the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Lutheran Church, and the Anglican Communion, which is the Anglican Church and the Episcopal Church here in the United States, which is the one that I affiliate myself with. So I can tell you that yes, he is considered a saint by all of those churches. But he is the patron saint. Now this is what he's the patron saint of, and all of these make sense. Love, engaged couples, happy marriages, traveling, and oddly enough, beekeepers. But wait, my story gets better. He is also, weirdly enough, the patron saint of fainting, epilepsy, and wait for it, the plague. So he could have been our patron saint the last 2 years. All right. Saint Valentine was said to have ministered to persecuted Christians in Rome, and he would even marry Christian couples, which was forbidden. That made him an outlaw. And eventually, of course, this got around to, the Romans, and he was arrested. And he was brought before the emperor Claudius Gothicus, which will be the name of my black metal band if I ever get it started. Claudius Gothicus. Freaking love that. His common name is Claudius II. And after St. Valentine got arrested, he and Claudius actually got along pretty well. He didn't make a lot of... He showed the emperor the respect that the emperor thought he deserved. They would talk. But then he made a serious and fatal mistake. He decided that he was going to try to convert Claudius Gothicus. Again, the best name for a metal band ever in the history of bands. And speaking of Claudius Gothicus and imposing figures, my black cat, Casey, has decided to make an appearance. And I'm trying to keep him off camera, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, he wanted... Claudius Gothicus, Claudius II, wanted Valentine to renounce Christianity. Well, that wasn't going to happen, of course. So, martyrdom ensued. Yes, that's right. They arrested him and they sentenced him to death. And he was, because the Romans don't do anything halfway, he was beaten with clubs, stoned, and then beheaded. Because, you just can't be dead enough, apparently. Interesting note, the Basilica of Santa Maria in, I'm going to butcher this, Cosmedine in Rome, they claim to have a flower crowned skull of Saint Valentine on display. They say they have his skull. And as you know, in a lot of Catholic churches, especially the cathedrals and older cathedrals in Europe, they claim to have relics of the saints. Somebody's finger, somebody's little toe, somebody's whatever. And apparently these guys at the Santa Maria say that they have Saint Valentine's crowned skeletal crown skull. Excuse me. Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, if you feel like just a normal dinner date isn't enough for your Valentine, you could always take them to go look at St. Valentine's skull. You'll have to go to Rome to do it, though. All right. Since about 496 AD, the church has celebrated the feast of St. Valentine on the date, or what they think is the date of his death. Wait for it. February the 14th. Yeah, so you're celebrating the death of someone. Yay! For over 1,000 years, that was the only celebration that involved Saint Valentine. It was just his feast day, and that's what they did for it. And it had no connection to lovers or anything. No hearts, no flowers, no cards, no chocolate, nothing. Get together, have a feast, celebrate the martyrdom of Saint Valentine. And that's all it was, celebrating the martyrdom. There was no couples or love or anything like that. So, how did we go from a Valentine's Day feast to the love fest that we have as Valentine's Day today? Well, some believe that we have Geoffrey Chaucer to thank for that. Geoffrey Chaucer, if you didn't have to study him in English, and if you didn't, just get down on your knees and say a thank you tonight to the Lord above. Geoffrey Chaucer was the famous author of the Canterbury Tales, a collection of stories about some pilgrims going on a pilgrimage, oddly enough. We have Geoffrey Chaucer to thank for modern Valentine's Day. Valentine's death occurred in mid-February, which is about the same time that some birds begin looking for a mate. So there's sort of an idea of searching for love there. Chaucer referred to Saint Valentine when he was writing about this time of birds looking for mates, looking for love, looking for the one. Okay? And some people think because he referred to Saint Valentine that others begin to think that, well, maybe this is when people look for their true mate, their true love. So St. Valentine's Day began to have a connection to looking for your mate, looking for the one, looking for your true love. So they started thinking of this on or about the time of the day of the St. Valentine's feast. So February the 14th becomes, well, it was already St. Valentine's Day, but now it becomes St. Valentine's Day while looking for your mate, looking for your loved one, looking for your soulmate. So now the two have become intertwined. All right? So people began to use this day as a reason to exchange love notes, the original Valentine's Day cards, or small gifts with the ones they loved. So you might get a token of someone's affection on Valentine's Day. It's their way of saying, hey, I think you're pretty nifty. So eventually, Hallmark, trademark, and Godiva, trademark, took it from there. And it became a time when sweets were exchanged, and that eventually became mostly chocolate. It became a time when small bouquets of flowers picked in your yard became a dozen roses from your local florist. And it became a time when little handwritten notes became very lacy, intricate valentines that were given back and forth. So, as you select that perfect card, as you plan that perfect date, as you pick out those perfect chocolates and those perfect truffles from Godiva or Lindt or someplace like that, just remember that you're celebrating the death day of a martyr, and wish your loved one a happy Decapitation Day. I love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day with your loved one. And if you're not seeing anyone, then I hope you celebrate yourself, because it's a perfectly okay thing to love yourself. Get yourself some chocolate. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.